Another one of the exercises you're going to be working this week is revisiting the COVID data that we saw a few weeks back when we were doing with files. So the core of this assignment is the same, and I just want you to understand very clearly what is the same and what's different. So the start of this is A and B are exactly the same of what you did in that previous exercise. If you didn't do that exercise, you probably need to go back and do that before you can complete this one. It's good practice. It's good work with that. But all you need to do for A and B is copy and paste the working answer from those exercises and put it in here. If you don't do it, it will still come up with error messages as we saw in that one. So you loaded nothing. It's going to give you the same errors and warnings inside of there. What I've added in this case is three different questions of get population by continent, get countries by continent, and get cases by continent. And actually, these are not in the order of easiness. The population by continent is probably the hardest one to do, but you can do these in whatever order you want. Just one error that comes up. So again, once you complete A and B, then you can come down to C, D, and E. So getting cases by continent. Well, I've given you three dictionaries to get started with, just to make sure they're named something that makes sense. You know what to do with them. So the countries per continent and cases per continent are the first ones to start with. So cases per continent is saying, okay, the COVID data has the number of cases each day for, so you can look here. So for each day, each month, each year, so each calendar day, it tells you how many cases, deaths happened that day in that country, which has this population on this continent. So the idea is every single entry you hit, you look at you add the number of cases to that continent's data. So the key in this assignment for this dictionary specifically is the continent: Asia, America, Africa, Europe, Oceania. They're not tracking Antarctica here, and they don't do North and South America separately. So the key is the continent, and then the value is the number of cases. So basically, each time you start one, you set that to be the number of cases, and then you add it in from then on. And there's examples both in the book and in other places of how to do that. So you're going to go check that out. And then we say countries per continent. What we're saying is every time you have an entry for a country, you add that into the data structure. So again, the key is going to be continent. The value is going to be another data structure that holds many individual values, but not copies of individual values. Hint, hint, hint. There's a three-letter answer to that. Um, and you're going to place those inside of that three-letter answer data structure and make sure you have one copy. So again, if I say countries per continent, if I'm looking at America, you're talking about United States and Mexico and Canada and Belize and Guatemala and actually, since it does all of them, it's also going to be Brazil and Chile and Bolivia and Peru. And I'm leaving out some, but I'm not, I'm just naming them quickly, so I'm not leaving out any on purpose. And so that's what the results of that's going to be, is the number of continents, a number of countries on each continent. The last one is a little bit tricky with saying what's the population in each country. Um, I'm sorry, yes. So that's this one, and then the answer is the population per continent. So what you need to do is start by filling the population per country. And again, there's going to be many, many, many entries that comes in, and the population is the same every single time. So all I have to do is put the country and its population in one time or repeatedly. You don't have to. You can either do it every time or not. It doesn't matter really exactly, because once you've searched if it's in there, you've already setting it is no big deal. So what you can do is fill this one by just saying every single time the population per country of this country is this, and you might set it 100 times or 1,000 times, but that's okay. I don't care about that. But in this case, after I've figured out the population for each country, this map of population per each country, then I've got to, in part E, I've got to reconcile the into population per continent. And so you should have enough information to know which countries are in which continent. And then you can take that information and take the population of that country and add it up and figure out the population per continent. So again, there's a couple interactions of data structures that's going to happen here, but we can't just simply add up like we did in the cases because the population is the same number every single time. It's going to report 33 million, 330 million for the United States over and over and over again. If you just add that up, I'm going to add 330 million times the number of days inside of there. So it could be 100 days. So instead of, you know, 330 million in the United States, I'd have with 3.3 billion, and that'd be really bad. That'd be way, way bigger than it's supposed to be. And so we got to be really careful about the data structure. This is going to help you reconcile that. So not this one's not super hard. I'll give you a hint. Most of your work is going to happen by adding things into A. So I need to populate these three, and the easiest way to do that is to populate those three as the data is read in. As I read in each line, which you're already doing in your other code, you're going to add logic to that to populate each one of these dictionaries as each line gets read in and as each one gets worked on. And then once that's done, two of these are pretty simple returns. The third of them is a little bit more complex. So there's your hints. If you have more questions, let me know.